So, imagine this. A killer who sends taunting letters to the press, cryptic puzzles to the police, and claims he's murdered 37 people. For more than 50 years, he's been a total ghost. Today, we're going to dig deep into the anatomy of one of America's most infamous cold cases, the hunt for the Zodiac killer. Think about it. We're talking over half a century, and his identity is still a complete mystery. It's something that haunts investigators and, let's be honest, all of us armchair detectives, right? So what is it about this case? Why does this one particular ghost just refuse to fade away? Well, let's dive right in and look at the real heart of this enigma. All right, so to really get why this case is so legendary, you gotta understand something crucial. It's not just one mystery, it's actually four. Yeah, four. And each one is like a puzzle piece that for 50 years has just refused to fit. So this mystery is seriously layered. It goes way beyond a simple whodunit. First, you've got the big one. Who was this guy? His true identity has never, ever been confirmed. Then there's the victim count. The police can only confirm 5 murders, but the killer himself, he claimed he killed 37. 37. He also sent these complex ciphers, and get this, 2 of them are still unsolved today. And maybe the weirdest part of all, after all that taunting, all that public terror, in 1974, he just stopped. Poof, gone. Each one of these questions is its own maddening rabbit hole. And let's just focus on that number for a second. 37. It's absolutely chilling. I mean, the police have officially linked him to 5 murders, right? But in his letters, he's claiming 37. So what do you do with that? Was he telling the truth? Or was it just some monstrous lie to spread even more fear? That question is right at the dark heart of this case. Okay, so let's try to separate the myth from the terrifying reality for a minute. What do we actually know for sure? Let's walk through the brutal, confirmed trail of terror that the Zodiac left in his wake. What's just so shocking when you look at it like this is the sheer speed of his rampage. We're talking 4 separate, brutal attacks that led to 5 deaths. And it was all crammed into less than 1 year. Can you even imagine the kind of fear that was gripping Northern California at that time? It must have been absolute terror. And behind all these dates and locations, these were real people. We're talking about teenage sweethearts on their very first date, a young mom, a couple of college kids, a taxi driver just doing his job. It's heartbreaking. But look closer at this table. You'll notice something crucial. 2 survivors, Michael Magigo and Brian Hartnell. They were both critically wounded, but they lived. And because they lived, they gave police the only eyewitness descriptions of the killer they would ever get. You see, for the Zodiac, just killing people wasn't enough. Not even close. He needed an audience. His murder spree was basically a public performance. A twisted, horrifying game he was playing with the police, the press, and a whole community he held in fear. And he made sure everyone knew who he was. Think about his calling cards. He sent those taunting letters directly to the newspapers. He sent those bizarre, complex ciphers. He even made a phone call to a police dispatcher to claim his second attack. And maybe the most bone-chilling move of all, he mailed a piece of a victim's bloody shirt just to prove it was him. This was not a guy hiding in the shadows. No way. He absolutely craved the spotlight. So, with all of this, letters, phone calls, even an eyewitness description, you have to be asking yourself, how in the world was this guy never caught? It's the big question. Well, the investigation has basically been chasing ghosts for decades, but 2 names have consistently popped up, again and again. Okay, so for years, the prime suspect was this guy, Arthur Lee Allen. I mean, he was the guy. The circumstantial evidence seemed to fit so well. He apparently owned a Zodiac brand watch, he had weapons, he was near the scene of the first crime, but, and this is a big but, when it came down to the hard evidence, fingerprints, handwriting, and eventually DNA, nothing. A total dead end. Then, more recently, you have this private investigation team pointing the finger at a man named Gary Francis Post. But law enforcement hasn't officially confirmed any of it. It's just the same story over and over. Every promising lead just fizzles out. So after 50 years of hitting brick wall after brick wall, there's a new tool, a new kind of science that offers what a lot of people think is the last best hope we have for finally putting a name to this ghost. It's called genetic genealogy, and if that sounds familiar, it should,
This is the exact same groundbreaking technique that authorities used to unmask the Golden State Killer after decades of him being a ghost. The way it works is incredible. You take the killer's DNA from the crime scene, and instead of looking for them, you look for a distant relative, like a third or fourth cousin, who's uploaded their own DNA to a public database.
So here's how this could finally crack the Zodiac case. Investigators have managed to get a partial DNA profile from the stamps and envelopes he mailed all those years ago. The next step is to run that profile through public databases, hoping for a hit on a distant relative. If they find one, they can build this massive family tree, going backwards generations and then trace it forward to pinpoint one person who could be our guy. It's like building a puzzle, but with someone's family history.
But okay, let's pump the brakes a little. This is not a guaranteed silver bullet. For one, the DNA is over 50 years old. It could be degraded or contaminated, basically unusable. Then there's the other big question. How do you prove the DNA even belongs to the killer, and not just, say, some postal worker who handled the envelope back in 1969? And at the end of the day, the whole thing really comes down to a lucky break. You need that one distant cousin to be in a database to unlock the whole thing.
So that's where we're at. And it all boils down to this one crucial question. Which side is going to win? The cutting-edge science of the 21st century or the long-held secrets of the 20th? Is there a name right now waiting to be discovered in a DNA database that will finally put this ghost to rest? Or is the Zodiac destined to remain a mystery? Forever? I guess only time and science is going to tell.